Silver has been ripping, guys. We broke above $50 per ounce a couple of days ago, and I'm sure this has a lot of people wondering, hey, is now the time for me to grab up a little silver? In this video, we're going to talk about why silver is moving higher and if silver is a good investment right here at this price. Before we do get started, please make sure to like the video and subscribe to the YouTube. Really appreciate your support. I'm also going to put a QR code down below for a Bitcoin tip. So if you want to support the channel, feel free to leave me a little tip. Now let's get into it. Silver is currently sitting around $50 per ounce. It's had a great year. Let's go ahead and take a look at a chart of the silver price. And this chart shows silver's price over the past 5 years. As you can see, towards the end of that chart, silver is really just taking off. And over the past 5 years, silver is up around 100%, similar to gold. Now, why is silver taking off here? For the same reason that gold is taking off. People are really trying to move out of the dollar and out of dollar assets, and they're moving into hard money. Now, while silver is not as hard as gold, silver is still a store of value asset. And right now, what we're seeing and what people are talking about is this debasement trade. And I'm actually going to be dropping a video about the debasement trade on my channel, so you're going to want to check that out. But people are moving out of fiat, out of government money and government debt, and they're moving into hard money like Bitcoin, gold, and silver. Now the question is silver a good buy here? In the short term, I could definitely see silver continuing to rally. We just broke above $50 per ounce, and that could provide silver with a little momentum to go higher here. I definitely think that silver, among other assets, are going to keep going up in dollar terms, and maybe the reason why silver is rallying here is because when we compare silver and gold, gold is sitting at a market cap of around $26.87 trillion, and silver is sitting at a market cap of around $2.68 trillion. So when we think about moving an asset, it's a lot easier to move an asset that's around a $3 trillion market cap compared to one that's around a $27 trillion market cap. So I honestly think that what we're seeing here is maybe people rotating out of gold and into silver, maybe nation states or central banks getting in on silver a little bit and kind of playing this short-term trade on silver. Now, this isn't to say that silver is not going to keep going up in dollar terms in the long term, but over the long term, the thing about store of value assets is that you kind of want the best one. And the great way to measure store of value assets is by their stock to flow ratio. The stock to flow ratio measures the existing supply of an asset to the supply that is added or produced every year. So with silver, we could think about this like the amount of silver that is above ground in circulation compared to the amount of silver that is produced on a yearly basis. And what this is measuring is the growth rate of the asset. When we think about store of value assets, we want an asset where there is a low growth rate, right? You're not going to want to store your value in an asset where the supply is growing a ton every year. So this stock to flow ratio is very useful when we're analyzing store of value assets and trying to pick the best one. If we compare some of these stock to flow ratios for these store of value assets, silver has a stock to flow ratio of 22 or 22 years, right? That's how many years of production it would take to meet our existing supply. Gold has a stock to flow ratio of 58 to 65 years, and Bitcoin has a stock to flow ratio of 120 years after the last halving. After the next halving, Bitcoin's stock to flow ratio will be around 250. So just looking at these stock to flow ratios, I see a clear winner, and that is Bitcoin. The best store of value asset has a positive feedback loop. Because it's the scarcest, when it does see more demand, it goes up faster in price. This leads other people to see that, right? They start piling into the asset. That leads it going up in price more. So over time, more and more people are just incentivized to pile into the best store of value asset out there. And that's why I think that Bitcoin is going to demonetize both silver and gold. And a great example of this positive feedback loop and this demonetization is if we look at gold and silver. Right before Bitcoin, gold was the best store of value asset out there, and we've seen gold demonetize silver over time. So let's look at a little chart here which shows the gold to silver ratio over the past 100 years or so. So back in 1915, the gold to silver ratio was 37.75. So 1 ounce of gold would buy you 37.75 ounces of silver. And now in 2025, the gold to silver ratio is 81. And before silver's recent rally, the gold to silver ratio actually topped 100. So this is a great example of why you want to be in the superior store of value asset, because it's going to demonetize these inferior store of value assets. I think that people will continue piling into silver as they look to escape the dollar and government debt. I see silver, gold, and Bitcoin all heading higher in dollar terms as people really play into this debasement trade. And I really see most assets heading higher in dollar terms, right? I think that the dollar is going to be the big loser here. I think that treasury bonds are going to be a big loser as nobody wants to bet on the dollar over 20 to 30 years. Over the long term, I think that you want to bet on the fastest horse, and I think that is going to be Bitcoin. I think that Bitcoin is going to demonetize silver and gold. So if you are looking for a long-term investment, I think that you're going to see a lot more returns with Bitcoin than silver. That's going to wrap it up for this one. If you didn't like and subscribe, please make sure to do that now. Thanks for watching. I'll be back soon.